Hey guys, Pickle here. With the 2018 fantasy drafts just around the corner, we want to tell you about our 2018 draft loadout, and that's all included with our average donation membership on our Patreon tab. You can click on our website, www.thehateful8ff.com, click on the average donation tab, and sign up there. All right, let's get into today's show.
Welcome Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. Fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Fantasy football talk, Hateful Eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down, Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to LB Design Studio, we're getting loud. Season 2, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Well, welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackburn.
What up?
And Trimboli.
What's up?
This week, we will be discussing, we turned into more of like a game show. So, a game show called Would You Rather. So, you may have, as a child, played the game Would You Rather Do This or Would You Rather Do That? And they're not either one of them are happy or great choices, or they may be really both great choices, and you have to make one. So, we decided to turn that into a fantasy football game today. So, it should be interesting to see some of the Would You Rathers that we all came up with. But
There's going to be a lot of disagreeing going on today.
it could be a lot of fights. Not hockey fights, but fights. As always, don't forget to follow the show's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Now, onto the Fantasy News and Notes.
Fantasy News and Notes.
All right, Fantasy News and Notes presented by Body Armor Super Drink, superior hydration for today's athlete. Check them out at drinkbodyarmor.com or your local convenience store. First one out the gate, Bears running back Jordan Howard is to be a third down back per coach Matt Nagy. So says there's a notion that he is just a first and second down back, and I don't believe that. Says Jordan can play all three downs, and we're going to do that. So
I like it.
I do too.
I think that helps him. I think that hurts the Tariq Cohen truthers out there, unfortunately, because that's pretty much what everybody's been banking on, him being that third down back the passing down.
He'll still get his touches. I mean, he's lining up as slot receiver and everything else.
They're going to move him all over the field. So.
Yeah.
As long as they do that with Tariq Cohen and they don't just keep him in the backfield for like the run pass blocking and whatnot, I mean, I think he should be all right. But yeah, they're moving around. I think that's a good setup.
I definitely like that for Howard, though. I mean, because right now he's going in like the late third round, early fourth in some mock drafts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Very.
I've been one of the ones that's been hesitant on Jordan Howard this offseason just because of Coach Nagy coming in and the type of offensive style that he likes to run with, using one set of back for a certain skill set and then another running back for another skill set, and that's what you had with Cohen and Howard. But I like the fact that you're hearing that he likes. Now, it could be just coaches talk. I understand that. But Jordan Howard being recognized as a three-down back is a good thing for anybody who's wanting to draft him. Now, it might not come to fruition, but unfortunately, you have to take what the coach is telling you at this point. And it's still early on. We're not drafting for like your redrafts aren't just starting yet, so you got a little bit more time to kind of get camp going and see exactly how things are going. But
well, I mean, for me, late third round, early fourth round, still way too late to get Jordan Howard. That's a steal if you can get him that late.
That and those guys that like to do running back, wide receiver, running back.
Right.
Then he's coming in behind. That's a great number too.
Exactly.
yeah, so should be interesting. Speaking of training camp, there were some updates today. Cardinals running back David Johnson did report to the Cardinals training camp on Monday, so
That's good.
that's a good thing. So he's not holding out, which is what was a potential what people were worried about. I mean, the Cardinals were worried about him maybe, but I think this is a good thing for him, and I think that bodes well for both sides in negotiating some sort of contract. So
I agree.
and then Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. will report to training camp on Wednesday, which is today or tomorrow. So, well, the day we're recording, it's Tuesday, so it'll drop on Wednesday. Never mind. So he's going to report to training camp is all you need to know. And
You've been hitting that pixie stick again?
Yeah, you know what? I have not, actually. I've been sticking away from candy. I think that's a good thing. It puts the ball back in the Giants' court because it shows that he is showing up in good faith without a real contract. And injuries, I know we all talk about freak injuries do happen at camp, unfortunately, and the guy's coming off of an injury. So, I mean, that tells me a lot that he's willing to show up without a real big contract so far. So, I mean, it shows a little maturity, I guess, if you want to call it on Odell's part.
Well, I think his all-season issues, too, add to this. So he's just trying to put everything behind him. He's trying to be a good player. Let's show up to camp.
I like it.
Right.
So-
Let's prove it.
Next one, Bills running back LaShawn McCoy will report to training camp as well. There's been, per the Bills, from my understanding, their front office has said that they're expecting LaShawn to be there, and unless something has changed within the courts or on the legal side and or Roger Goodell in that office, they're expecting him to be there and participate all through camp. So, I mean, until something changes handed down from Roger Goodell or like I said, the courts legal side, I don't see why he's not participating. I mean, it's still, we got to go through the proper.
Who's the backup in Buffalo? Is it Chris Ivory?
It is Chris Ivory. So, yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it's still early on in the process of figuring out what exactly happened with that whole situation. But as of right now, the Bills and the Bills coaching staff as well as the front office is expecting LaShawn to be there. So,
It's good for a PR side for him.
Yeah.
He needs it right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
His ADP's dropping too.
It went way
5th round.
way
That's
down.
Well,
where
I
I'm
mean,
seeing him.
his age.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
His age and his ADP was already
And then-
kind of putting him on a
then
cliff.
The issue he's currently has himself in, whether or not it's true or not.
has taken a hit
I'm
on
seeing
his
yeah.
middle of the 5th round though. I mean, that could be a good flex.
right. I mean, if
If they can even have time to hand the ball off, that line's bad.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how that's going to work out.
they're just gonna hope and pray that somebody
Especially
blocks.
if Peterman's the guy. Like I feel
jeez.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He's just gonna fall down.
That's terrible.
Don't get me started with that guy. All right.
It's terrible.
Charles Barkley. Now for running backs, we talked about this over the last couple of weeks with in reference to Le'Veon Bell trying to get a new deal. Todd Gurley did end up signing a new deal. Signs for 4 years, $60 million and $45 million guaranteed.
But that's less than what Le'Veon wanted.
Right.
So I mean that sets the bar. We talked about it. That sets the bar.
Or is that the ceiling now for all running backs?
No.
He's younger.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess you said it off air talking about that you thought that this hurt Bell, and I think I agree with
agree.
you because
yeah, it does.
I think it's the age is the difference. Now, if Bell is sitting there at the 26, 25-year-old range, then yes, I think this is just a straight, okay, well, we're going to take now Gurley's platform and where he's gotten, and we're going to take a step above that. The problem is Le'Veon Bell is 29 years old. 29 years old, and he is...
I mean, he's still a beast.
He is, but I'm just saying you're looking at a guy who's now going into the last year of his contract. He's 28 or 29 years old, so he's towards the back end of the running back efficiency scale, if you want to call it that. And no one's going to – I mean, I shouldn't say. The Steelers are not going to pay him that.
Well,
And
this help. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in his defense, though, you got to think of that. He's not going to play less than what the franchise tag was.
No.
I wouldn't take less per year. So I mean, it's in, and then he just wants length on it. That's the other issue. Someone will pay it. It's just
Oh, it'll be somebody.
Well, Pittsburgh's jumping for joy at this contract
Right.
because they're saying Todd Gurley got this. You're not going to get this.
right. But I think Gurley did it because he doesn't want to get wrapped up in this franchise tag. I
Right.
wouldn't want to if I'm a running back, at least.
Right.
Well, and I think the Rams are happy because now they've got Todd Gurley locked up at a cheaper rate and not in a couple years when they have to do what they're dealing with something like Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers are dealing with,
Right.
where there's an issue of not getting signed and or Todd Gurley getting signed for even more money than this.
And their franchise quarterback's still on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's kind of crazy that he didn't get signed. They didn't somehow have extended him yet.
Yeah.
this is only year 3 for him.
Should be interesting. So,
So he's still got 2 years left.
yeah. So I don't know, man. It's the running backs. I'm just telling you, this is the first step in the right direction for the running backs to get paid. I think this helps because what you said, David Johnson's playing in his last year, so he's going to want something by the end of the year or early off season next year. Ezekiel Elliott's going to want something, especially if he blows up again this year. Alvin Kamara. I mean, there's a couple good running backs that are going to be falling off their rookie contract.
Kamara's got time. He was a rookie last year.
Well, I don't think he was like a 4th or 5th round pick. So
3 years.
So he's got 3 years. So he's got what, 2 years left. So he's got this year, next year.
But he'll get paid, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Ingram's out of town. He'll get paid.
I'm just saying this is the start of what I think is going to be what we've seen with the quarterbacks and wide receivers. It might not be like a complete jump like you saw from the early quarterbacks to the now quarterbacks or wide receivers to what Antonio Brown got, but I think it will continue to step up a little bit by little bit and maybe more guaranteed money, if nothing else.
I just wonder if Gurley, when he gets a couple years in, it'll end up like the Julio situation is now, where it's like, all right, everyone else, the couple years after, they got more money now.
He's out playing that contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that every
just
year
sucks.
someone's going to get paid more.
Yeah, it just sucks. Yeah,
So-
because it's every year. Like Odell Beckham's going to reset the wide receiver market.
Yeah, you can't. And those guys should get their money when they can. I fully agree with that. I just hope Gurley doesn't have the Julio situation because no one likes to hear all that.
Speaking of Julio, we'll jump over the one we had. Speaking of Julio, said he won't be at camp, so I guess we'll see him week 1.
Yeah.
Him and Le'Veon Bell apparently just going to hang out.
Is he going to be gone the whole preseason?
He said he's not coming back until season. He said, I'll sit out the whole camp. I'll sit out preseason, whatever I got to do. I will not be there till I have to be.
Just show up.
And he's willing to take some fines. So
he's got the money to do it now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that helps Calvin Ridley.
It does?
I think
it does.
I mean, it gives Calvin Ridley, he's probably going to be seeing wide receiver 1 snaps during camp.
Him and Sanu are going to get all the work through preseason and camp. So.
Potentially Julio's going to be off to a slow start.
Could be.
Like Bell, it took him a while to get going. So
we'll see. Josh Gordon said he's not going to be at camp due to personal. It was a personal request that he's going to go basically to. From my understanding, I don't know if he's going to go seek treatment or if he's just going out into like a treatment center. But it's not like he's not in trouble by the league or by the NFL or the Browns or anybody. He personally said, "I want to step away, and I'll come back at some point." Didn't give a timetable. He just said he's not going to be back for camp right away.
I don't like that.
That just puts a lot of question marks in my head as to, is this guy dealing with like mental stuff? Like, is he mentally just not all right still? Is he still not gotten back to where he needs to be mentally? Or is he like, hey, I know that, I mean, you think about it, the guy's coming off of what his issues were drugs, alcohol, and everything else. And in camp, I'm not saying that the guys have freedom to go do drugs and alcohol, but I'm just saying it's a little bit more. I mean, when we had Sharkandrick West come on, he talked about training camp and stuff like that being almost just kind of like a reunion party with your boys, is what he said. And he goes with a little bit of working out and some like workouts throughout the day and stuff like that. He said, but overall, he said it's kind of like a meet and greet and kind of catching up with everybody from the off season. So if guys are wanting to go out and go to the club, guys are wanting to go out and drink, I mean, things like that. I mean, if he knows what his problem is, he's not going to put himself in a situation to potentially ruin his career. Because, I mean, one more strike, and I'm pretty sure he's done career-wise. So,
yeah. Well, my thing is this hurts Cleveland, I think, because you got a new quarterback coming in Tyrod Taylor. You need that repetition, especially with your number 1 receiver, in my opinion.
But let's wait on that until we see how long he's gone.
Right. I know, but still. I mean,
it's still the fact that he pulled himself out right before camp, and there was no talk of it the whole off season until the week of before camp. He's now, I'm not coming to camp.
I know it doesn't look good, and with him in particular, it doesn't look good. But I don't want to speculate on anything because he's got personal issues that are beyond football.
Yeah,
right. So
I'm not speculating. I'm just worried about the continuity between.
I agree with that. If it is an extended time, that's when I agree with you. I start seeing the worry with the repetition, especially with Tyrod in there now.
Right.
But
which will boost Landry way up there.
Indeed. Staying in the NFC or the AFC North, you got Tyler Eifert says he's not going to be ready for camp due to his back.
Never seen this show before.
Shocker.
It's like a reunion. It's like, what is it? What do they call them? Not a reunion, but when they keep playing like the same stuff over and over on television, like at Nick and Night.
A rerun?
Rerun. It's like a rerun over.
It's like
and
that
over.
movie Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Boop, boop. Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Nope.
Told you guys to get that Tyler Croft.
Tyler Croft. It's there.
Only thing now we need is to go 8-8 again.
Don't worry, Marvin will get you there.
John Ross, baby.
John Ross. All right. So that's all we got for the news and notes. There wasn't like exceptionally a large amount of notes and news and all that good stuff. I'd say after camp was when we'll start seeing a little bit more. This guy's doing great. This guy's doing horrible. This guy's injured.
And the injuries will start piling up.
Yep.
You're right. So be interesting. What we at? Like 40 days now.
Roughly, yeah.
So,
like 43 days.
It's getting close. So, all right, let's get into the next segment. It's going to be our listener questions. We had a couple sent in this week, so we wanted to address them and answer them for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
All right, Take It or Leave It, presented by Fantasy Fate Ball, the one and only Magic 8-Ball for fantasy football. 20 custom answers to help you make those critical start-sit decisions in the Sunday morning agony. And head over to fantasyfateball.com. Use the promo code HATEFUL8 for $5 off your purchase. So we got a couple questions off of Twitter, and we had a couple questions off of SleeperBot. So, Trimboli, we'll let you do the Twitter questions first. Right. So these couple good ones. I mean, they were all good ones, so this will be definitely interesting to see our thoughts on these.
Frank B. at the FFL Wire writes, which Colts running back is to own this upcoming season?
You want me to take care of it for you?
Yeah, just take care of it.
Turn up the man. Once again, return up the man. Top of the world. Return up the
If you didn't gather that, that's Marlon Mack.
That's all you need to know.
Yep.
That's it.
Just saying.
I agree.
At this current moment, unless you hear anything different out of camp or there's a setback with a shoulder issue of some sort, Marlon Mack's the guy.
Yep.
All day.
So.
All day.
All right. What's
next
the next
one? Lion Lenny, at Lion Lenny.
Oh.
Right. The Bengals have revamped their offense line. Hill is gone, and the offense now is geared around Joe Mixon. Do you see a big rebound season?
I think that based on the fact that there is no Hill, the fact that they did address the issue that we were all talking about last year, which is the offensive line, and they brought in Dallas offensive line coach from last year to be the offensive line coach this year for them. So I'm all in on the Mixon hype this year. I think as long as he truly does get the carries that we expect him to, and the Bengals offense doesn't just completely derail, I don't see how he can't get better than what he was last year.
Yeah, he's a featured back now. Last year he wasn't, so that's what I like about him.
I mean, Gio's going to get his. He always does. He finds a way to be relevant for a couple weeks here and there just because of the type of gameplay that they're using that week. But overall, I think that without Jeremy Hill there, I think that helps Mixon, and I think the fact that he's getting all the main carries in the offseason and getting used to the new offensive line and everything else, I think that's a help to him in general. But
what I like about Mixon, it's not like he's got that big bruiser back waiting to take his goal line.
No.
It's just not there.
No.
So he's going to have a big goal line usage too.
I like Mixon a lot this year.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Andy Dalton's going to be happy that he has an actual offensive line this year as well as a solid running back there. So we'll see.
Big things in Cincinnati.
It's on the horizon.
Another
Don't worry.
8-8 season. Excited.
Skyline Chili.
Skyline Chili. There you go. All right. What do you got for? We got a couple sleeper bot questions. So what were the ones that you had?
First question is by Jaboris. He said, in a standard league format, which would you rather have, Zeke or DJ, David Johnson, and why?
I'm going to remove the Homer card out of my my wallet and say Zeke, and not because I am a Dallas fan, but because I think overall, I just think the offensive line, I think even though that there's no true like wide receiver one there, I think with Zeke back with the offensive line and with Dak being not having to focus totally on Dez, I think that's going to give Zeke a little bit more opportunity, and I think the defense is going to be better overall. Not that they were great or bad or great, anything like that. They were pretty subpar, I would say. So,
well, I just think in a standard format, I mean, so the receptions really aren't going to matter that much.
No,
so that takes David Johnson kind of out of the equation a little bit more. I mean, Zeke catches, but
not to the magnitude that he does.
And I think Zeke's going to be the focal point of Dallas's offense. You mentioned the lack of wide receivers. I think Zeke's going to be the guy. They're just going to feed him.
I agree with you. That's what makes him or David Johnson, that is so intriguing in PPRs. He doesn't necessarily need the touchdown numbers to be as high to still be a top back because he's being totally used running and passing. So.
Right.
Yeah. So in a standard, I would say Zeke.
Yep.
Zeke, yeah, standard.
Yep, I agree.
In a PPR, I think that I still think Zeke, but I think the gap is very minimal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's like a 1A, 1B thing.
Right.
You couldn't go wrong either way.
No.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to feed Zeke regardless.
At that point, let your Homer card play.
Right.
Why not? I mean, if you're going to pick between those two.
Plus, Zeke is durable and will last the season. We don't know what David Johnson's going to.
And there's just a lot more question marks, I feel like, in Arizona. I mean, that it's Fitzgerald and it's David Johnson. And their defense is
Well, the quarterback, I mean, Sam Bradford.
You don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I mean, it's Sam Bradford, but you don't know how long he's going to be.
Right, and then if he goes down, you got a rookie coming in. So, right. I mean, we don't know.
And their offensive line is not that great. So I just feel like that puts a little bit more pressure on David Johnson.
Yep.
So Zeke's your answer.
Zeke. All right, who's the next one?
Next question's from Always One More Win.
Oh.
Another would you rather. It's Christian McCaffrey or Jerick McKinnon in half PPR.
Man. Ooh.
I'm going with CMC here.
I am too.
I was going to say, and it's not because I think that CMC is that much better than Jerick McKinnon. I just think that we know what you're going to get with CMC in this offense that he's in versus Jerick McKinnon. I believe he can be good, but there's still a what if, I guess, because the 49ers offense, we don't know what he's going to do in this offense. Yeah, we know he's going to be the feature back supposedly. We know that he's looking good in camp. We know that he's doing everything he's supposed to, and Kyle Shanahan really likes him, and that's great. I just think that in the offense that you're looking at within the Carolina Panthers, he's going to be fed the ball through the run, whether that's or the pass. I mean, that Cam Newton's going to use him in some fashion. And I just saw something. Ron Rivera was saying that they're wanting to get Christian McCaffrey 200 carries.
That's going to make him a top back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because 113 targets he had last year. That's unreal.
Right. Well, for me, it's production, like you said. We know what McCaffrey can do. We don't know what McKinnon can do. If I have a choice, I'm taking with what I know rather than what can be.
I mean, Jared McKinnon looked good at the end of last year when he was given the opportunity to be the guy there in Minnesota. But, I mean, I just think that he was playing in a better offense than what he's walking into in San Francisco, if that makes sense.
That could favor him, though, because, they'll feed him more. But I just think CMC's got the higher upside.
Yeah. Plus, let's be honest, Jared McKinnon's going to be playing in a tougher division out west. He plays the Rams twice, just saying.
True.
Where Carolina's got the Saints
Falcons
are probably the best defense that they're going to play against.
Tampa Bay, yeah.
So, we'll see. But I would say mine is Christian McCaffrey as well.
All right, and last question we got is from Mazing25. It says, why is Alvin Kamara ranked so high in consensus rankings? And also, why is everyone buying in on the hype?
Well,
It's Ingram gone.
Well, that's 4 games of no Mark Ingram. So it's going to be Alvin Kamara's show for at least the first quarter of the season.
And you got to get excited about what he did last year.
Exactly.
with Ingram sitting there. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You got no Ingram, so the best option offensive weapon is, for running back wise, is Terrence West or Shane Vereen in some form. And then the only other guy that was comparing to him last year in receptions, which is, what Kamara was really excelling in, which is the receptions as well. But Michael Thomas is the only other wide receiver, was the only guy that really competed for receptions. And at one point, Kamara had more receptions than Michael Thomas last year. So
Right. I like Kamara a lot.
yeah, he's just a talented guy, and he's just like a spark that just needs. He needs one step and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he does not need a whole lot of he doesn't need the lane parted wide open. He doesn't need 7 guys in front of him to run for 80 yards. How many times did we see him catch it on a bubble screen, make one guy miss, and he was gone?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he did it on kickoff and punt returns as well. So the guy's just really talented, and I think that they got a steal with finding that guy that when they did. So.
Well, he fits that offense perfect. For the style they like to run.
And as long as Drew Brees is the quarterback, which I know that could be anytime, he could exit stage right. I just still think that Kamara is just too good of a talent to doubt him. What you saw, under 50% of the snaps, under 50% of the carries last year, and he was number 4, number 5 running back last year. So
4, yeah. Anytime you can get a dynamic playmaker in the both pass and run, take him. That's why people were buying into this.
right. And didn't you say he didn't even play for the first 5 or 6 games?
No, he didn't play until they traded Adrian Peterson.
Right.
And then even then it was 50-50 split, and he
Right.
still finished RB4.
So
And buying him, I think, is easier than buying into Barkley, which we've never seen.
right.
Again, we know what we're getting in Kamara. We don't know what we're getting in
Right.
Barkley.
I'm still buying Barkley stock.
Yes.
I like Barkley, and I
They
think he's a talent.
revamped their O-line. They got
Yep.
liable receiving options, so you got to respect the pass. And
It's always that what if.
And Barkley can catch too, though. I know. I'm just saying. I'd
No,
rather have Kamara than Barkley.
Oh, so would I. I'm just saying I don't. When you get to a certain point in that draft where their ADP is, I can't go past them.
Right.
Right.
Because that's a home run if you get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
All right, so the couple of questions that I got from Sleeper Bot, let's see, it was KB844 writes, or he asks about Gronk versus ADP. Do you feel that it's worth taking Gronk essentially at the ADP, which is 210 right now?
No.
So
There's other tight ends that you can get later, not named Kelsey or Zach Ertz, because even he's climbing up into the 3rd, 4th round now. You can get other tight ends, especially in like a half-point PPR, that maybe they won't amount to the same amount of points, but it'll be a tier down. But you can get an RB1 or a wide receiver 1 at that 210 spot.
right.
I was just going to say, it depends. To me, it depends on where you're drafting, but ultimately, I think everybody is I think before this, I think he had like a mid-3rd round ADP, and then once the Edelman news officially hit, everybody bumped him into the 2nd round, which I understand. Edelman and him were primarily going to be Brady's guys, and I understand that, but and we even said it's going to give him a slight bump, but it's not going to give him that much of a bump that he's going to be competing with the top 5 running backs He's not going to be in the top 5 for fantasy points at the end of the year. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
That's,
He's gotta
that's
stay
what you're
healthy all
drafting him
year.
as.
Well, that's the thing that hits me is his injury. He's always injured the
Right.
last couple of years. That's too risky for me.
in the 2nd round, you're drafting a guy that you're expecting to be in the top 12 overall.
But you're also looking for consistency. You're looking for a guy you can start every week without worrying about it.
Right.
He's going to give you double-digit
I
points.
mean, yeah, if you got Gronk, you're going to start him regardless. However, I think there's too much other talent there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I should have prefaced that with in your two position start your places.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. I think that puts you back a step back behind your competitors if you take Gronk in the second round. I think there's plenty of other, like you said, talented guys that you could take at that position and keep yourself at a even playing field draft wise. So, this guy is. I had to laugh. Logger 24. Now I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago. But Logger 24.
Kenny Loggins.
The Kenny Logger. Logger 24 says he wants to know about Funchess' ceiling with a healthy Cam. Now, last year we said Funchess was a wide receiver 19, 132 fantasy points, and that was with missing Olsen from weeks like 3 through like 12 or 11, week 11. So, I mean, like 8 weeks without Olsen at all.
And no DJ.
And Kelvin Benjamin getting traded to Buffalo.
Right. So, I mean, it was pretty much him and Run CMC. And some of Cam, obviously.
Yeah,
but
he won't sniff wide receiver 19 this year.
No.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to be in that. He's going to be lucky if he makes it into the wide receiver 2 talk. How about that? I have him right outside that top 25, so I got him right around, I think, like 27 or 28.
So probably low wide receiver 2, high wide receiver 3.
He's gonna have to have some big games to get into the top 25 for me. But
yeah, and his touchdowns aren't going to be there either.
Yeah, it's what we talked about. I mean, Olsen's back. DJ Moore is a deep threat. CMC's wanting 200 carries, plus he's going to catch some, and then Cam in the red zone is going to take it upon
and you got
himself
C.J.
to run
Anderson's
it.
in there too.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just too many other mouths to feed.
I mean, Funchess' touchdowns. I looked. All of his touchdowns came from within the red zone.
Yeah.
So Olsen's back.
Yep.
C.J. Anderson's back, and Cam's healthy. So those 3 guys will be dipping into the 8 touchdowns that he had last year.
It won't be so much Funchess for him.
But
You like that?
Look at that. I like that. That was a good one. All right, and one near and dear to our show, and we really appreciate him writing in. Nacho Taco.
Yes.
Says
Best handle. Sorry.
Raiders run game productivity. So he's want to know how productive do you think the Raiders run game is going to be this year? And then part 2 of that question is, who do you think gets the bulk of the carries? So do you first part of the question, do you think that the run game is going to be productive for the Raiders this year? Yes or no?
It depends on the passing game.
I was going to say it depends on which Amari Cooper and Derek Carr.
Yeah, I agree.
The passing game, if it's legit like 2 years ago, it'll open up that run game.
Right.
I'm nervous with Gruden.
I don't necessarily like Doug Martin or Marshawn Lynch, but I think Lynch will start the year, and I think as the year progresses, Martin will actually take over that feature role.
I'm a little different. I just think Lynch is the guy to own in that backfield.
I just feel like you're just playing to the Gruden card and hoping that Gruden stays in that 1990s Madden like 99 offense where it's like just hand the ball off and HB Power left, HB Power right to Marshawn or Doug Martin. But the thing is, you won't know. He's too much of a chess player to let you know what he's going to do. So you won't know till the day of the game as to who's going to be.
Neither one of these guys are great at catching the ball out of the backfield. So that's so they don't have any added value there. So
no,
to me, it's a tough play, but.
If they play the traditional, like the traditional offense, which is like the play action, power eye type offense, yeah, then I can see one of these guys being fantasy relevant, whoever's the guy that actually gets the bulk of the carries. However, if he tries to do some sort of new thing where it's the spread offense and zone reads and everything else with Derek Carr and all that, I don't see these
Maybe
guys.
see Martin doing 20-20, bring in Lynch for the goal line.
Yeah.
Could be.
We'll see.
Should be interesting.
I'm not excited about either one of them, though, to be honest.
No. So I would say I would agree with you, Blackburn, that for me it depends on how productive the passing game is. Like if they can get the passing game going with Cooper, then yeah. But
Cooper and Jordy,
there it is.
If not, I see a long, difficult season for the Raiders and John Gruden. So, but we'll see. They need to go out and get a running back next year, a true one. But whatever. Anyways, alrighty.
I still got some tread on the tire. Sign me.
You want to sign up for that? He'd sign you. You're about the age of what running backs he's looking at.
Yeah.
Alfred Morris is still out there.
Yeah, there's a reason.
This is true.
I don't know. I
Can't be.
don't think he didn't get enough play.
Can't be worse than in what they've got.
True.
All right. Now we've got the last segment of the day. It's going to be Would You Rather.
This is every fantasy football player's favorite game. This is Would You Rather?
All right, Would You Rather, presented by StatRoute, empowering the fantasy sports fans. You can find any player or team stats in under 7 seconds. Head over to statroute.com. Get signed up now, as they will be going live officially on August 1st for everyone. So,
Nice.
just saying, that's who we've been using. We finally got to look at the behind the closed doors site, and it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it is, like they said, under 7 seconds. You can find any player, any team stat you want through the filters. So should be interesting to.
It's definitely a leg up if you're looking for one in your league week to week.
Yes. So, all right. So who wants to start in our Would You Rather questionnaires?
Want me to start?
No one.
Sure.
Sure.
All right.
Go right ahead.
Would you rather is Jay Ajayi, Alex Collins? ADP for Ajayi is 4th round, 3rd.
Oh.
Collins, 4th round, 8th pick.
I'd rather take Collins. Only because there's so many different running backs that they use there in Philly. You got Clement Woodhead, or not Woodhead, what's his name? Smallwood. And
It was
Darren Sproles.
Same bark.
Yeah.
Now, the bulk of those carries were Blunt, and he's gone.
Yeah, I know. And I'm saying Ajayi probably will get the bulk of the carries too, but I'd rather take Alex Collins.
I was going to say, I think the offense is, I know it sounds bad, but the offense overall, I think, is better in Philadelphia, so they have more opportunities to throw the ball around to different guys. They've got Jeffrey, they've got Nelson Aguilar, they got Ertz, and I think that the running game is going to be the last of the focal points, if that makes sense. I think Ajayi will see the bulk of the carries, like you said, but I think that Corey Clement's going to be factored in somehow. They're going to get Sproles into the game in some fashion. And to me, the biggest thing with Jay Ajayi, and I know we've been saying this for a couple of years, is the knees. I mean, at some point, those knees are going to give out, and eventually, and it's over. Once they're over, once his knees are blown out, it's over. I mean, there's nothing else he can do. And when he came into the league, they said it was bone on bone. There was no cartilage, and it's just a matter of time before they wear out, and it's over. And for where he's going, I would much rather take a safer guy in Alex Collins, because you know that offense is going to have to do. I mean, Flacco loves play action. And they've got 2 good tight ends that they drafted this year with Hurst and Andrews. They brought in Crabtree. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are possession guys, not guys that are really stretching the field. Right. And that, to me, is more important to get. And Alex Collins showed last year that he could be a valuable running back with them. And the only other guys, I mean, you got Dixon and who's the other guy? Buck Allen. And they really, when they got their opportunities, didn't really shine.
Well, that's what's going to be my point. So I buy into Collins also, but I'm buying into the narrative that he is the featured back.
Yeah. Right.
That the other two aren't going to factor in as much. Or last year, Collins didn't take over to the second half of the year, really. And his numbers actually are really comparable to Jay Ajayi's.
Right.
With less, being the future. Yeah, exactly. So I agree.
Yeah.
Collins.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a good one, though. But, man. And Lamar Jackson potentially being the quarterback at some point this year could make it even more interesting.
And Ajayi being on the better offense, more scoring potentially, that actually is intriguing, too, because it means he has the opportunity to score more. So, that's why they're this close.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I like Collins week to week.
I think he's going to make a major leap this year.
Yeah.
I do, too.
I think he's going to do pretty well, honestly. So, all right. So, who is your other guy?
I got
other guys.
Golden Tate or Will Fuller.
Ooh.
Fuller is 6th round, 9th. Tate is 7th round, 6th. Pick.
Man.
I'm going Fuller here, just based on the potential of what we've seen last year. He had like 7 touchdowns in 5 games with Deshaun Watson playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, and this is a standard on this one. Standard.
Okay, because I was going to say, if
it's going to change. Yeah, PPR would change it. That's what I was
saying. The PPR would make me definitely buy into Golden Tate hands down. Now, I'm not saying that I still would take Golden Tate just because of the consistent offensive play that he is within that Detroit offense. But, man, I might take a flyer on like a high-end guy like Will Fuller, because the thing is you're looking at, Fuller is probably going to be your flex play. Let's be honest. He's not going to be your wide receiver 2. Golden Tate could be your wide receiver 2 depending on how you draft, but to me, on a week-to-week basis, Fuller's going to give you highs and he's going to give you lows. He's going to have games where he's probably hitting in a standard league like 10 to 12. And there's weeks he might only have like 3 or 4. But on the weeks that he blows up, he might have 2. He might be like a Tyreek Hill where he has 2 touchdowns and 40 yards or 50 yards reception, which carries him over the season. Versus Golden Tate's going to be a steady like points. He's going to be your 8 to 10 every week in a standard league, 8 to 10 every week. But and he's still. I guess it all depends on your personality. I guess if you're willing to take a shot on a guy that may get you a week where he's got 3 points, where on the next week he might get you 15, then I would take Will Fuller. But if you're a guy that likes consistent points from your flex or your wide receiver 2, then Golden Tate would be the guy to take because he's going to be less stress on your weekly roster.
Did you read my notes? Because that's what I was thinking too.
No,
I like the consistent play of Tate.
no. I
like the potential of the offense more in Houston.
Fuller's got to stay on the field for me too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was doing pretty well last year until Watson went out. Then Fuller
but he only played
disappeared.
10 games.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
So that's why I'm in on Tate this year. So,
Yeah.
well, at least more than Fuller.
Yeah.
I only picked it because I knew we would disagree.
Well,
I know you're in on Fuller. I thought you would be more on Fuller.
I'm not
I like
in on
Fuller.
No. I
but-
just mean in this situation.
Yeah. I just like the potential. That's all.
So, all right. Do you want to go next? Do you want me to go?
I'll go.
All right.
Mine's PPR format.
Okay.
It's Chris Thompson for
Okay.
the Redskins versus Tariq Cohen and the Bears.
Ooh.
Their ADPs, Chris Thompson right now is RB36 going 712. Tariq Cohen, RB29 going 6-4. So Tariq Cohen's going a full round ahead of Chris Thompson, but they're right there.
Man.
Last year, Chris Thompson had 151 points to be the RB28, and PPR and Tariq Cohen was the RB30 with 144, so 2-spot difference.
Interesting.
And Chris Thompson didn't play the last quarter of the season.
Ooh, man. See, I don't know why, but any offense that Gruden's going to be the coach and with Alex Smith there, I just think that Chris Thompson's going to be used a ton. I'm not saying that Cohen can't be used, but Cohen's going to be, like we said, he's going to be a lot more like the scat back. He's going to be the guy that's kind of thrown into the slot and everything like that. I think they're going to move him around a lot more and like a Tyreek Hill kind of role setup where Chris Thompson, you know what you're getting with him. You know that he is going to be the passing down guy. You know that he is going to be that guy that is going to be kind of the outlet on those screen pass plays or the running back screens or the dump out passes and stuff like that. You know that he's got the opportunity to take it to the house.
Well, my thing is they're pretty much the same player.
Right.
But the difference is Chris Thompson is strictly going to be a third down back, in my opinion. You got Darius Geis, who's going to be the one in first and second down.
Right.
Whereas Tariq Cohen can line up on the same field with Jordan Howard.
True.
Right.
And has potential to be receiver value. So that's why I'm going to give a slight edge to Tariq Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean, I feel like that's not a bad thing to do. I mean, man, they're that close.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I think I honestly, if I was just sitting there and I saw both their names and who to like available to draft at the point of their ADP, I would probably take Tariq Cohen. Honestly,
Thompson just did more with less.
Yes.
And that's what's got me intrigued.
And you got to think, Terrell Pryor was a non-factor last year.
Right.
Jordan Reed was in and out.
Jordan Reed was out most of the year. Josh Dotson was in and out. So, I mean, really it was Crowder and Chris Thompson that carried the team offensively, and then Chris Thompson got hurt.
Right. Well, and, I mean, Rob Kelly
Now
was
you
not
got-
a pass-catching back, and nor was Samaje
Well,
Perine.
Kelly was out too.
Right.
I mean, this was Chris Thompson starting. Now you got Darius Geis who's in there as the first and second down back. He has secured that spot. So now Chris Thompson only has a third down role, whereas Tariq Cohen can play on the field with Jordan Howard on first and second down to just be a receiver.
Yeah.
I just think he has more chance
No, I
to get
yeah.
points.
I like the Tariq Cohen.
I did too.
Just a slight edge over him, and for sure. And that's like you
I
said,
agree.
because the availability, what he can be used and utilized in that offense is a lot more
Right.
opportunity wise. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's close, though. It is.
It's real close.
man.
My next would you rather is a trio.
Okay.
It's Cooper Kupp, Jameson Crowder, and Randall Cobb. Cooper Kupp's ADP is wide receiver 37, 8'6". Jameson Crowder, 7'11". Randall Cobb, 8'2".
What was Cups again?
8 something.
8'6".
8'6". Then you
So,
got what was
Cobb's 8'2".
right? He's
Kupp's 8'6". Crowder, 7'11". And it's the wide receivers, Kupp's 37, Crowder 34, Cobb 35. So they're all right there.
man. And you said PPR in this one as well.
Yes.
In PPR, I'm gonna say Crowder, and that's not like a slight at Cooper Kupp because we know that reception wise, he's gonna be he had the second overall for the team, number one for the wide receivers, but I
Let-
just think that. Go ahead.
I'll say last year he finished wide receiver 33 in PPR.
Okay. See, I give Jamison Crowder just a slight bump because I think that with Alex Smith coming in, I think that he's going to reap more of the offensive short yardage possession receptions, and I just think that they're going to use him a lot more in what he's good at versus last year where I feel like they tried to stretch the field with him and they tried to use him in a setup that it's not his like go-to. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like Kupp and Crowder, but this year I'm going to give the edge to Randall Cobb.
Ooh.
Only because
Wow.
Jordy's gone.
It's
So
true.
that takes
Yeah,
a
but
lot of targets away. I know they
Jimmy
got
Graham's back
okay.
or in.
Okay.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, great.
To your credit, though, I mean,
2 years ago, Randall Cobb was a beast, and they had Jordy and Devontae Adams, who both finished top 10, and Randall Cobb still had a good season.
He's had regression ever since.
I get that, but I think this year, addition by subtraction, you take Jordy out, they're going to focus – the defense is going to focus mainly on Devontae Adams. It's going to open up for Randall Cobb as a slot receiver.
well, I mean, yeah, just as long as Randall Cobb is healthy, he's got a ton of upside because, I mean, the biggest thing that I've looked at with stats and stuff like that is Aaron Rodgers is able to carry 2 solid wide receivers in fantasy.
Yep, I agree
So
with
whoever
that.
the wide receiver 2 is, whether it's Cobb, Allison, Montgomery, and whatever they want to do, whoever it is, if it is Cobb, you have to look at it where he's going, and he's a steal. I mean, he could be a flex play on a week-to-week basis on matchups alone. So
All three of these guys are good. I like all three of them. I'm just
So-
going to give the edge to Cobb.
We're going different. I like Cooper Kupp. I think he's a steal. I think he's got potential to be a top and at least wide receiver 2.
yeah,
There's just too many weapons there for me.
Right, but he's on the second highest scoring offense last year. That's where you want to be on. Team's going to score the ball.
Well, I get that, but I don't know.
we'll see. I like Crowder out of the 3 of these guys, and
So we all pick somebody different.
I would say for me it's Crowder, Kupp, and then Cobb in that order, but that's just my personal opinion, and that's because of PPR. Now, if it was standard, I might give more to Cooper Kupp, then Crowder, then Cobb. Cobb is still 3rd on my list, and that's just because of the unknown of that offense. Because I just think that I think that Cobb could be the guy for wide receiver 2, but my question mark is with his ability to stay healthy within the season. I guess is my only thing. I'm not worried about what he is now because he's got the boot off, he's practicing and everything else. If he's healthy for 16 games, Randall Cobb could be the best one out of this group. Not anything at the other guys, but I just think he has the most opportunity because Aaron Rodgers is going to throw it a ton. They don't really have a true running back one that they're looking at to hand the ball off a ton now, that Aaron Jones is pretty much punted on his availability for being the guy for the first couple weeks. I think that this offense is going to run through Aaron Rodgers like it has been, and I just think that it's going to be a pass-heavy offense, and I think Randall Cobb's going to be he's going to be the beneficiary of this because, like you said, Devontae Adams is going to get a ton of coverage, double coverage. Jimmy Graham's going to see some double coverage probably as well. So who's the guy that's going to be roaming the field and kind of doing the possession receiving? Randall Cobb. Just saying.
I just like the potential there.
Yeah.
Last year, Cooper Kupp he finished 25th PPR. Crowder finished 33rd, and Cobb finished 35th.
And Cobb didn't have a very good season last year.
That's
He still
what I'm
finished
saying.
35th.
Right. I don't know.
We shall see. I'm not. That's a good one though. I didn't even know that those guys were all going right around each other. Man, huh?
I know.
I'm like baffled. Like that just blew my mind that they're all 3 like being drafted right around each other.
Same round for Kupp and Cobb. It's 4 picks apart, and then Crowder is 5 picks. He's the last pick of the 7th round.
Man. All right. Well. All right. For mine today, I've got a running back and a wide receiver, both going right around the same pick, within 1 pick of each other. But they're both being drafted as running back 2s or wide receiver 2. So for your team, Lamar Miller and Juju Smith-Schuster. So Miller's got the 505 ADP, and Juju's got the 506. So running back 23 for Miller and wide receiver 17 for Juju.
And this is standard.
This is standard setup. So in 16 games last year, Lamar Miller was averaging just shy of 10 fantasy points a game. And I looked, and his ceiling was 24 fantasy points, and his floor was 3.5. So not the best, but Foreman I put is more likely to start the season on the pup. So you're going to have a true showcase of Lamar Miller in that high-powered offense. And he is the running back 1 on that, like I said, on that potentially explosive offense. So that's something interesting to look at. But Smith-Schuster, 14 games last year, 11 points a game in standard, so only 1 point more than Lamar Miller. And you would have thought Juju Smith-Schuster was playing out of his mind versus Lamar Miller was playing like crap. Everybody just was down on him. So it's just perception of what you see on the field versus what the points actually show. But there was a 5-point difference between Lamar Miller and Juju Smith-Schuster in standard, with Lamar Miller being at 159 and Smith-Schuster at 154. 34 points ceiling for Smith-Schuster with .02 fantasy points as his floor. So, which is not good. Martavis Bryant is gone, but James Washington, I think, being drafted kind of steps right in to be that deep threat that they're looking to replace Martavis Bryant with. And he is the wide receiver 2 on a very potentially explosive offense, similar to the Texans, but he's now the wide receiver 2 versus the wide receiver 1. So, who would you guys, I'm probably guessing who you guys are going to draft, but I just want to at least give you like a general gist of where they match up to each other from last year to this year.
I'm taking Miller.
I'm actually taking Miller too.
See,
And for me, it's easy because Juju doesn't run the ball.
Right. Miller will touch the ball more.
If Miller's going to be my featured back, your running back's always going to have more value.
Especially if Foreman's not going to be starting the season.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. I mean, running backs are more valuable than receivers anyway, especially a one that's going to be showcased by himself.
Right. Now, if Foreman wasn't starting the year off like he's going to,
Yeah.
and he could potentially eat into Lamar, then I would take Juju. But right now, it looks like it's going to be Lamar Miller's show.
Yeah. I mean, Alfred Blue will be there to probably give him a little bit of break, but overall, I mean, we said through the 6 or 7 games last year, 7 games or whatever that Watson played, Lamar Miller was a running back 1.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I did their PPR numbers just because they make the same point you did. They finished 4 points apart in PPR.
I know.
So that's what goes to show the running back means a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 points in standard, 4 points in PPR. I mean,
But you're right. He's no flash.
No.
He's kind of consistent the whole way out.
And his ADP is what now?
505.
Yeah, see, I mean,
And
a couple years
506.
ago, he was, or last year even, he was third round ADP. So
if you're getting a running back 1 on a high-powered offense like that in the 5th round, as potentially running back 3 maybe, just saying.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and then my other one, I figured Trimboli might like this one, and I figured I'd pick your your favorite fantasy team versus your personal team. Kenny Galladay versus Paul Richardson. So this is potentially your wide receiver 4 or flex in your current roster setup, the way that most people are drafting them. So Galladay's going in the 14th round as the 4th pick, and Richardson's going in the 14th round as well as a 3rd pick overall. Now, wide receiver 57 for Galladay, wide receiver 54 for Richardson. So Galladay in 11 games last year, and now this is standard, 5.8 points per game, 64 fantasy points overall. He had a ceiling of 18 fantasy points and a floor of 1 fantasy point. No Ebron this year for red zone opportunity. Not that Ebron was really successful, but it gives the opportunity is nowhere option. It's not an option anymore. He's the wide receiver 3 on a high passing offense with Matthew Stafford. So versus Paul Richardson, 16 games, 6.5 fantasy points per game, 104 fantasy points for the year, 22 fantasy points with a ceiling, 0 fantasy points for his floor. He does have a new team this year as with the new quarterback as well, with the Redskins and Alex Smith. Wide receiver 3 on a receiver-friendly offense. And this is what I looked at. Now, for the past 5 years, with Gruden as the head coach, Cousins threw for 14,000 yards. 14,000 yards. And Alex Smith, during that same span on the Andy Reid offense, threw for 17,000. Now, we all know that Alex Smith actually was very efficient last year in the home run ball to Tyreek Hill. Paul Richardson, to me, could be potentially somebody who's going to be the deep ball threat guy anyways.
He will be.
So, I'm just saying, I really liked Kenny Galladay going into this draft. I mean, our rankings and stuff like that. But, man, Paul Richardson's really... when I looked at the points and everything and the offense that he's going into, and, I mean, it's going to be Crowder, and Doxson's going to get a lot of the coverage. And if Jordan Reed's healthy, Darius Geis is going to be there. I mean, that's a pretty potent offense with Alex Smith, he's going to check down from time to time. But overall, he was very efficient. I mean, he was I think the most efficient quarterback throwing the deep ball last year.
Well, not just deep ball. I mean, Richardson's a good route runner too.
Yeah.
I think that this late, both in the 14th round or whatever, 15th round, I would play my homer card here and just take a chance on Paul Richardson. I don't like the fact that Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, who was top 5 last year, is playing with Detroit.
Yeah.
And
They're
see,
going to eat the targets.
and I was actually I'm going to piggyback. Richardson's going to be my play too, only because I looked up his target share. He only had 48 targets. I mean, I know he's going 14th round. Kenny Galladay did, that is. Richardson's going to see more than that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I agree.
especially with not that offense, that wide receiver who's going to show up to be the guy. It
Right.
could go any way.
Yeah.
And we already know Jones and Tate are going to be the two.
Yeah.
So
And we know Doxson and Crowder is going to be the guys there in that offense. But, I mean, I just think that Alex Smith has shown that he can throw for 17,000 yards over the past 5 years, where the guy that just left the team, Cousins, was throwing for 14,000 over the same span. So I think you're getting about the same quarterback, but I think Alex Smith's ability to run and be mobile in the pocket, I
he's
think
more
that's
efficient, too.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be helpful to the Redskins offense. So,
Yep.
as a Cowboys fan, that really hurt me to have to say that, but I'm going to pick Paul Richardson as well, and that's just I think that
Sweep.
it's just I think it's just opportunity, like you said.
It is. It's
So-
unknown. We don't know who's going to be the guy.
No,
So,
so alrighty. I think that's all. I don't think I have any other guys.
nope, that was
So,
it.
Man, I really thought we were going to argue a little bit more,
I did too.
but apparently we all were on the
right.
same.
I'm going to piggyback to the sleeper bot question.
Which one?
When I did CMC and McKinnon.
Yes.
Okay, McKinnon or Mixon? Would you rather?
You said in PPR.
PPR.
Gosh,
I was going to say it then, but then I didn't.
McKinnon.
McKinnon's name came to my mind.
I
first.
like Mixon, okay, but McKinnon because there's more. I think there's more passing options in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was going to say I think
He
there's
f-
more opportunity for McKinnon to get that reception and rushes and reception combo versus Mixon.
God, we're going to be a three-way tie here.
And you're a Bengals fan and you didn't pick.
All right, here we
Mixon.
go.
Well, no, I've seen the Bengals offense, though, so I kind of see where Mixon can go either way.
Well, I just know that Dalton likes to throw to the tight end and AJ, of course,
Right.
AJ Green.
Right.
So where I don't know who's going to be the wide receiver one go-to guy in San Francisco. I see a lot of check downs to McKinnon.
Well, you got. I mean, wide receivers that I know of that are on the roster right now. You've got
Well, I know who's on the roster, but I'm
Right.
saying like who's going to be that guy to like
Garcon, Goodwin, or Pettis,
none of those guys
or
like,
true wide receiver ones.
get me excited.
No, none of one of those guys. I would be like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and draft those and be like, yes, I got Goodwin, or yes, I got
That's
Garcon.
why I can see McKinnon getting a lot of the
Yeah,
work.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I think opportunity, and they might be playing from behind a lot as well. So, where I think that Mixon's
Yeah.
not going to be, if the game script is getting close in points and like it's getting out of hand, Andy Dalton's going to be looking for AJ Green down the field consistently. Where I think in that Jimmy G's going to want to check down, he's going to want to do a lot more HB screens and things like that to move the ball down the field. He's not going to be looking down the field consistently. But that's just me.
Man, watch my homer card come out, though. When I'm in set, I mean, I got that, this exact choice, and I
Right.
still take Mixon.
You never know.
Here's one. PPR,
Yeah.
Amari Cooper or Larry Fitzgerald.
No, you did. Oh no,
I want Larry Fitz.
Larry Fitzgerald.
I mean, Fitz is like, they're both right there, around the same ADP.
Oh, I know. That's what's. I know it sounds bad when you take names out and you just put stats on the board. You're like, you look at Larry Fitzgerald and you're like, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, and then they're like, oh, it's Larry Fitzgerald, and you're like, what? That's Larry Fitzgerald? You're like,
So basically, what it is it's David Carr versus Sam Bradford.
ooh,
That's what it boils down to, or not Derek Carr, not David Carr.
I know what you meant.
Derek David.
That guy sucks.
True.
He's a good NFL Network analyst.
No.
Oh, that's
Anywho,
fantastic.
I'm going with Amari Cooper. I think he's going to have a rebound year this year. Derek Carr was hurt a lot last year.
True.
With that back injury. So Cooper, had an off year, and yes, he dropped a lot, but I think Gruden's going to force the ball to him, and
Make you learn how to catch.
yeah, I'm not sold on Sam Bradford being the quarterback.
Yeah, I guess that's my only question mark with the equation. Like we talked about last week with wide receivers being attached to the quarterbacks and the success of injury or not, and how efficient the quarterback is makes how well the wide receiver does. Now, being attached to Sam Bradford, injury-prone guy who doesn't ever really finish a season, he is an efficient passer. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Sam Bradford is a very good quarterback when he's on the field and playing. However, that doesn't always happen. So
Right.
then you got Josh Rosen who's going to be stepping in, and you've got a league vet with a rookie, and that doesn't always click.
I mean, Fitz is going to get his targets, but David Johnson's going to be the guy to have there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So, and Amari Cooper, you can't get any worse than what he was last year.
And like we said, that run game is probably going to be a little bit a little bit of Rumpke going on.
Yeah.
So you look for Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I kind of like the line in Arizona better, which means the quarterback will have more time to throw. So that's
Well, they
kind of why
better
I'm
have,
leaning.
because as soon as Bradford gets hit, it's over.
As soon as the
Yeah,
wind,
well,
they better make sure that dome is closed too.
Listen, I think Rosen's gonna end up being that guy there.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
but I don't know, rookie quarterback.
Just make sure that the dome is closed every home game because a breeze of the wind from Arizona might take a tumbleweed into the stadium and take out Sam Bradford's legs. So, all right.
He's worried about getting injured stepping out of the shower.
True story.
He's like, all right, guys, let's go. No.
I think they bubble wrap everything in there. Just
They probably do. He probably
like that kid on Little Giants.
we baby proof stuff. They Bradford proof stuff.
Bradford proof. I like it.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of Bradford proofed. Seal of approval for Bradford proof. No worries. Man, your quarterback will make it to the field and he
it's in
will
his
be good.
contract.
It is. So, oh, man. Alrighty. I think that's all we got for today. So, we just want to tell you guys thanks again for tuning in to today's show, whether it's the podcast or on YouTube. Please check out our site, thehateful8ff.com, where you can check out our articles. Want to give a shout out to Frank Weiss again. He's got a new article out this week. I know.
Frank the Tank.
He's publishing them weekly, but yeah,
Pumping them out.
pumping them out before the season starts. But so he got this week. He pumped out the article about Tyrod Taylor being his QB7. When I read it initially, I was like, "This guy, is he all right?" And then I was like, I mean, when you really look, when you look
Give him
at
some of those pixie sticks, didn't you? Pickle?
yeah, but when you read the article, I
Fun
mean,
dip.
you see exactly why he says that he has the potential to be a quarterback's top 10 quarterback, and I mean, opportunity wise with the offense, and
If it all gels together.
if it all gels together, I mean, you could get a guy who's a top 10 quarterback. So I mean, it's a good article. Make sure you check over on our site and look at that, as well as the other articles that are there. Make sure you follow our personal accounts at jpickleTH8FF, at jblackburnTH8FF, and at ftrimTH8FF. Don't forget to join the average donation via our Patreon tab as the season's almost here, and you can get your draft loadout help as well as your in-season weekly advice. So
Yes.
finally, as we talked about last week, make sure you vote for us on the Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com. Sign up for a free account. Make sure you click the button that says that you want to be recognized as a voter later, and vote for us under the People's Choice Award and the Sports and Recreation Award. So
We'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
that's
More
pretty
than you
cool.
know it.
Yeah. So anything else from you guys?
Nope, that's it. Guys, thanks for listening. You know, we always appreciate it.
Did you have something?
No, I got nothing.
Oh, your eyebrows went up, so I thought you had like an idea dropped in. No? All right. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
One more time. There ain't no one like these three. You know you just heard Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli. Give the goods talking about nothing but fantasy football. Yeah, it's your year to dominate and to wear that ring. Prepare for the draft and dial in on your craft. Quarterback, the first round is a good choice, you ask? This guy's got first round pick, a favorite? Not so fast. He failed to tune into Hateful Eight. He's a chump finishing last.